There's a lot of work to get done on farms and ranches across the country, and cattlemen and women need equipment that is reliable, versatile, and easy to use. We head to Texas, where Matt Fleck shows us how John Deere equipment is helping ranchers be more efficient on their operations.
When people think of Texas, they often think of vast rangeland and ranches. But there are many smaller-sized cattle ranches and farms in the Lone Star State.
Our area here is real diversified as far as we're close to Bryan College Station, so we have a lot of smaller acreage farms and ranches, a lot of horses, cattle, smaller cattle ranches. We have a lot of hay produced here when we're not in a drought.
No matter the size of the operation, all cattlemen appreciate durable and versatile machinery to get their work done more easily.
John Deere equipment is particularly handy for anyone who's got property out in the country, and it includes a wide variety of things, way beyond just taking care of cattle. A lot of things to keep the pastures clean, everything from shredders to grooming mowers around the house.
I run registered Angus cattle, Rome Manolas, and Rome Angus crosses. That's the goal, and right now I'm working on club calves for my grandkids. I cut, rake, and bale hay at about 5 different locations, about 800 acres that we work. The John Deere shredder that I have, I use to shred the pastures and the hay meadows first thing in the spring. I try to use them to get a first cutting to cut the winter grass off and then come back and fertilize it. The shredder has been a good product. In these pastures, our meadows have winter grass in it, and I don't like the winter grass. I like to cut the top of the winter grass off. I do very little spraying. I will spray, but with jig tends to choke all the bad weeds out. So I use the shredder to cut the winter grass off to get my jig to come up and give me a good, clean first cutting.
Beyond the machinery used to maintain pastures, cattlemen today have come to rely on vehicles that can easily get them, their crew, and the supplies they need out to their cattle, no matter where the animals are or how rough the terrain may be.
One thing that the John Deere Gator has that makes it extremely valuable to cattle folks, particularly cattle and hay as well, but cattle specifically, is that first of all, it's got a 1,000-pound payload. So that's a lot of weight you can put in the back of that Gator. And so when you're talking hay or cubes, or if you need to, barbed wire, whatever the case may be, it's ready for that. Plus, it's got tremendous suspension. So you've got a heavy load, and you're going across a bumpy field. Rarely do you have the combination of the two and have a smooth ride, but with the John Deere Gator, especially something like an 825i that's got the suspension and the heavy-duty payload, it's pretty amazing. The Gators produced today have both a 2-passenger and a 4-passenger version of that model. So an 825i could be a 2-passenger or a 4-passenger. When we talk about farm and ranch, sometimes you got ranch hands and folks that need to go with you from point A to point B. It's really helpful to have that. You don't lose anything with it's just a longer frame, but basically you have the same durability, all the same features, just a longer Gator.
With all the features the John Deere Gator offers, cattlemen in Texas and many other places have come to appreciate the value of having this machine.
This 825 I really love the ground clearance on it. It just goes where a lot of other machines are quite a bit lower. I like the ground clearance. Steer's good. The ride on it's good. It's just a pretty good machine. The biggest thing that I like is I really love that ground clearance. It makes a big difference for us.
Our Gators being used in this area for the cattlemen are being used in a wide variety of ways. A lot of my customers feed out of them. They use them to check their cattle. They use them working fence on their ranches. They use them instead of a truck. I've got people that run them just every day, all day long, going from here to there, to the barn, to the house, to check cows. They're a vehicle that, people have began to realize that they don't use much fuel. It's cheaper than running your truck. Right now, it's real wet in our area. They don't go in and tear up your roads, rut up your roads. They're really handy for that.
Well, I just really think if you get you a Gator, you'll find so many applications to use it. They're unlimited. I'm talking about from building fence to checking cattle to moving cattle. It's a pretty good tool to have. It's a real time saver because if you got a cow somewhere back in the, say, the back 40 or whatever they call it, and you can't get to her with a truck and you need to go get her or get her up or tend to her, or you'd either have to walk, ride a horse, or this Gator. And let me tell you what, the fastest way to get there is a Gator.
John Deere's commitment to their customers is supported by a strong dealership network. No matter what piece of equipment, if it has green paint, Cattlemen can rest assured that service and maintenance are readily available.
Sioux Falls Prater is our John Deere dealer in the area. I have had very good service with them. If I'm broke down, they usually have a mechanic out that day or the next morning for me. I've had very little downtime with them. It's one of the reasons I went and looked at John Deere is because of the service factor. Service is probably the most important part for me in backing up a piece of equipment.
Sioux Falls Prater, we are focused on the smaller operator, the smaller cattle guy. We're not solely focused on our large ag producer and farmer, even though that's a very big part of our business. We are also focused on the smaller individual and the smaller ag producer. That's a big part of our business. Deere's very focused on that. We have a wide range of products, and we'll take care of you at Sioux Falls Prater.
Reporting from Texas, I'm Matt Fleck for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.